Hi, welcome back to this series on machining a Blade Runner Blaster Future Edition, one that we can machine entirely without casting anything. Sorry it's been absolutely ages since the last video where I made this magazine here, and obviously there's still a bit of work to do on this because I have to mill that out and put the cartridge in there. The next bit, one of the reasons that I've been putting this off is this cover plate here. This is one of the most difficult parts to machine. It would be a lot easier just to cast this out of aluminium. I'm not really interested too much in casting, so I have to work out a way of trying to machine a version that looks something a little bit like this. And the problem with it is that I don't have any tools that would be able to bore out this recess for the revolver with two closed ends. If I have one open end, I can come in with a boring bar like I did for the other cover plate on the other side, but I can't do this with two closed ends. So the only solution that I can think of, apart from putting it on a rotary table and using a small end mill to be able to mill all of that out, which I'm not going to do, that's far too much work, with too many possible ways that could go wrong. What I've decided to do instead is to machine this plate in two halves. So I'll leave this channel completely open for the lever that goes from the top barrel, and I'll machine this part here and this part here, and we'll just leave this open. So I'm going to start with this one, take a plate of aluminium, cut it to the right size, bore out this recess here, and then it'll get fixed to the gun through this mounting hole here, which I'll put in roughly the same place, and that will go through, that will go underneath this plate from the magazine. And to give it 2 points of anchoring to the gun, this thumb screw, instead of just going into this plate, will go all the way through and will act as a second point of anchoring. This bit over here, this only has one mounting hole, so what I'll do is I'll move that up a bit and then I'll put a second one down there, so that also has 2 points to keep it in place. And then this bit, as I said, this will just be open, and then that will get covered by the lever when I make that for this top bit here. I've set the revolver on parallels in the mill, and then this is the back end of the drill that I used to make that hole the first time round. So we just need to center it on that hole, and then we'll know that this is on axis. Okay, maybe I should be using the other side. So we'll just do it until it just scratches the surface. So yeah, it's leaving a little tiny mark on there, and then we'll just go a little bit more, just a tiny bit more. Okay, so we're getting close now. I want about 1.5 millimeters maybe of wall thickness just at the end there, maybe a little bit more. So it's currently about 2 millimeters. So let's take a few more passes. Okay, so that's that one done, and I'll do exactly the same on this one off camera, and then we'll get to shaping them. Okay, so that's worked really well. How can I show this? See? So that works really well. Now we have this part as well. So having just bored out this diameter, we know that the axis of the mill, of the spindle, is roughly on the center axis of this cylinder, which is on the center axis of the gun. So as long as I don't move it in the Y direction, then what I could do then is find the diameter of the steer part and where it intersects with the plate that should go here, and then we could use the boring bar set to the radius of the steer to mill out that radius so that the cover plate will fit both of them like that. Okay, so I've got it set up in the mill, overhanging the edge, because now we need to bore all the way down to the bottom. You can't see, but there's that witness mark there, so we'll just keep going until we hit that. I haven't changed the y-axis on the mill, so the spindle should be centered on the axis of the gun. So hopefully this will work. I've made quite a lot of assumptions, so we'll see if it works. So there's these the two parts. They look really nice on the inside, and they fit really well against that radius and over the barrel, cylinder, whatever, and this one as well. So they need to be trimmed so that they're in line with that slot there, to leave that slot open along there, and then shaped so that it looks more like this. Okay, I don't know what these angles are. I just eyeballed them based on, you know, wanting some thickness there and there, and but they look good. I don't care what they are. It, I really like them, and that now fits really nicely. Um, that's a really satisfying fit. So I think the easiest thing to do at this stage, before doing any more work on this, is to copy these angles onto this part as well, and trim it down to size on the mill. Okay, so I've copied these angles onto this bit, and now they both fit. I didn't get it quite right, but these are going to get blended in anyway on the sander, so hopefully it'll look alright in the end. It turned out to be very difficult to guess these arbitrary angles. So leave that bit there. Now we're on to make this hole in this counterbore for this guy. Yep, okay. And then so this is about 17 millimeters from the edge. It's about that. Might as well get it in a similar place. So that's there. So we can scribe a line there. That was terrible. Okay. So the center is going to be there. This arrangement is the best that I can come up with. So the piece is glued to this sacrificial bit of aluminium with CA glue, and I'm hoping that that's going to be strong enough to hold it in place while I cut the radius using the rotary table. Now at the moment I haven't really set the radius properly. It's just a guess. It might be okay. What we wanted to do is start around here on the piece, but not encroach on the actual screw hole. It'll cut through the counterbore, but I don't want it to cut through the screw hole. Okay, that's going to miss, so that's good. Right, let's go with that. Don't know what it is. Let's put a little mark here. Now we need to put the chamfer on, and so for that we can tilt the vertex rotary table. I'm hoping that that's what's going to work. So if we tilt it to 30 degrees, let's put a 30-degree chamfer on it. Okay, it's working really well, but I think a 45-degree chamfer would be better. So before we go too far, let's reset. That worked really well, and the CA glue just came off. I just hit it with a hammer, and it came off the aluminium. So that bit fits really nicely there. We can even put our little thing in. I'm obviously going to make another one of those. So now we need to do something similar with this bit. So if you look at the original, I'm going to put a radius in to get that line there, and then maybe another radius there, just to follow it around. I do it the same way, but obviously this is an external radius, so I'll put it on the rotary table that way, and then we can tilt it up to chamfer that edge, and then chamfer that edge there. Yeah. Okay, so not quite done. This piece is pretty much done. If we put the magazine on there, that's good. So that curve accommodates that. So that bit's done. This one, not quite. So although it fits nicely. No, sorry, this bit's not done either because, well, we'll see. This is the handle grip, and so we need to take a bit out of this one, and then that will slope down, and then that slope should continue onto this one so that it matches up. So first thing is to draw around this. That'll set that line, and then that will continue down there, and then we'll do that on a mill probably. Okay, so I've blended that in a little bit on the sander. Didn't take much. None of this has been finished. It'll all get a polish in the end. So this is just to get the shape. I'm not really worried about the surface finish. So this is almost complete. We just have to transfer these holes onto the body of the gun, so I can tap. That will be M4. These two will be M3. Then we can put this magazine on and then drill through the whole, the 3 parts, and again tap it M3. I'm really pleased with that. The next job, I think, is to try and finish up this side a bit better. So we need to replace this one with the something that looks like that. That thing there, and then we need to make the lever that comes over here and sits in that slot. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. Thanks for watching.